Seriously. Seriously. So, taking another trip down gaming memory lane, because, it's crazy that's been 20 years since the 6th gen started. I mean, it ran from starting with the Dreamcast, which launched on September 9th, 1999, then PS2 shortly after, and then Gamecube and original Xbox came out 2 years later. But then my point, it ran from like 99 to, what was it, like 2005, 6, something like that. But my point is that it's 20 years ago that it started, so to speak. So I've said in a number of videos that I kind of feel like that was the last great generation of gaming. I mean, the past few gens, like 6, 7, and 8, they were good, obviously, but I don't know. I feel like the 6 was the last great one, like, because, well, let's not get into all the things about how games are the past number of years, like, corporate bigwigs coming up with all these boneheaded decision stuff. Let's not get into all that. Let's just focus on the more happier stuff. But I thought this would be an interesting idea for a video because a lot of great memories from that generation. So it started with, well, I need to start by saying that my mom, being the youngest of 3, I have an older brother and sister, and my brother and I were the ones who were more gamers. Our sister was more casual, if you will, but my brother, he, when it came to him and I buying like a new system, I'm sure we're not alone with this. When my brother or myself would buy a new system, and our mom would be like, "Oh, can you get rid of like one of the old ones or something?" But my brother and I, obviously, being hoarders, if you will, hold on to our old games and systems and stuff. So a lot of times when we bought a new system, we had to kind of sneak it in, like, into our mom's house. And so my brother, so that was what my brother did. He got the PS2. I think I want to say in like either 2000 or 2001, but he got the PS2, and I think he got SmackDown Know Your Role. And he actually kept it in the car for a few days, and this was like winter time. So he did get that, and I don't remember all the first games that he bought, but eventually, it was funny. Eventually, our mom did know that that he had the system, and of course, that was like his first DVD player. I think there's like a meme about that. It shows like the PS2. It's like your first DVD player or something, because the family didn't have a DVD player. So I remember for Christmas for him one year, we got him a couple of DVDs, like The Mummy Returns, and it was one of them. And it was I remember some of the first few games that he got were well, not too many of them, but I know one of them was Time Splitters, which, oh my god. I mean that in a good way. But how he came across that game was kind of funny. I don't remember if he'd heard about it or if he just like saw it and like, oh, this looks cool or something, but we had went to the mall, and they had an electronics boutique there as well as like a GameStop, and then like, other, like an FYE and stuff like that, and there was probably some other place where you could find games, but him and I went into electronics boutique, and he was planning on buying the game. But the clerk was like, I was like, oh, this game sucks. Yeah, you don't want this. You just like kind of put it to the side. But I was like, oh, all right, whatever. And then, I think might have bought something or something. I don't know. But what he did, what my brother Aaron is his name. I'll just use his name rather than keep saying my brother Aaron. Instead of just going to like GameStop or FY, actually I don't think it was GameStop. I think it was Software Etc. Instead of just going to another store, he came back later that night, because this was probably like in the early afternoon or something. He came back later that night with, I think with his friend Tim. Went back to the exact same store, electronics boutique. The kid was obviously gone, because it was just like 6 or 7 hours later. Goes to the same store, buys the same game, and the clerk doesn't say anything, just bought everything. But I always just thought that was kind of funny, and I think what the kid meant was that the campaign of Time Splitters was probably what he was referring to, because the campaign in that game was... It was almost like a scavenger hunt or something. It's hard to explain. Unfortunately, they improved it with the second and third game, but... so the campaign was really weird, but the multiplayer in that game, oh my god. It was... Let me put it this way. take GoldenEye for the N64. That is considered to be one of the greatest multiplayer games of all time, because it was just something about that game that, like, it was just like the impact that that game had, like, for the multiplayer that, sure, it probably hasn't aged well, like, multiplayer's evolved over the years, but it was just the amount of fun that people had about with that game, and like I said, just the impact of that game was so, like, and that was what Time Splitters felt like to me when we got that game, because it was like, his friend, Tim, who I had mentioned, and another friend, Ken, Time Splitters, maybe the multiplayer hasn't aged well and stuff, but it was like the same feeling as like when we played GoldenEye. It was just so much fun playing that game, especially with the four of us playing it, because it was like Tim had such a great sense of humor, and Ken, who his sense of humor wasn't the greatest, but he had the best reaction to things. I guarantee you, if Ken made a reaction trailer here on YouTube, it would be an instant hit. Like, a perfectly good example. For starters, let me point out the fact that Ken was obsessed with candy. I think he ate that more than anything else. So there was a time when him and Tim were coming over, because we were going to play like Time Splitters or whatever, and Tim showed up first, so him, Aaron, and I were kind of just shooting the breeze. Then Ken showed up, and the four of us were just kind of talking for a bit, and then we were going up to my brother and I's room or Aaron and I's room to play Time Splitters or whatever. And Ken had, prior to coming over here, he bought a bag of candy corn. And, candy corn is something you eat in, like, Halloween, October. This was, I'm going to say February. And Ken hadn't even opened the bag yet, so, when he showed up with the bag of candy corn, we were just kind of talking and stuff, and then, like I said, we're going upstairs to play the game, and now he had mentioned, he's like, hey, anybody want some candy corn? So I was like, oh, sure. So he opens the bag, thumbs up in my hand, and I ate one. I was like, they were stale. So at some point in our life, we've all eaten something stale, like candy or cereal, chips or whatever, and it's just like, it's just like that awful texture and stuff. Ugh. So then actually my first reaction, I was like, they're stale. So this was his response. He's like, are you serious? What? Oh my god, it was priceless. But, yeah, so Time Splitters, oh my god, the amount of time that we had dumped into that game, just hours upon hours of gameplay, was, oh my god. And what made Time Splitters, honestly, what made the multiplayer that so much fun was the variety of wacky characters that were in those games. Like, I mean, take the first one, you had aliens, zombies, mutants, a gingerbread man, a duck guy, an overly sexualized rabbit girl. And what's funny was that we all had our favorite characters. I know my brother, or Aaron, I keep saying my brother for some reason, Aaron liked the gingerbread man, Ken and I each liked one of the zombies, and Tim liked one of the futuristic marine guys. And what were some of the other games I remember he got for that system? Well, obviously the wrestling games, we played the crap out of those. I feel like there was more with the people. Oh, I'm going to go a little off topic for a minute here. I mean, not off topic, but I'm going to kind of take a bit of a side road, so to speak, and talk about the Game Boy Advance, because I know that wasn't part of the consoles or anything, it was a handheld, but it was still part of that era. And it kind of plays into this. The Game Boy Advance, which came out in 2001, and I got it for Christmas that year, along with Super Mario Advance, which was basically just Super Mario 2 with... it was like an updated Super Mario 2 with the Mario Brothers arcade game thrown in it. I also got Super Mario Circuit, which was one of my favorite Mario Kart games, and Wario Land 4. Now, Super Mario Circuit, because it was funny, I was in junior high at the time, and I remember playing, this was like when I had first found out about Cartoon Network, and I remember it was before Adult Swim was like as big as it is now. It was, it was back when it was just like a small block at like late Sunday night. Where was I going with this? But I remember watching, like, on Sunday nights, there was always like those like documentary type shows on Cartoon Network dedicated to creators like Bob Clampett and Tex Avery and Chuck Jones, and there was a show called Toonheads, which is funny. Nowadays you have these type of shows, you could just watch them on YouTube, but, this was before YouTube, obviously, so it was kind of cool for the time. And I remember just, like, sitting there watching one of those, like, and I was, like, sitting there playing, like, Mario Kart Super Circuit, which was one of my favorites Mario Kart games. But, what was I going to say? And I remember the day after Christmas, my brother and I think we went to the mall, and he got a PS2 game, I forgot it. I got Golden Sun, which, to this day, I have never beaten Golden Sun. I know those are awesome games, but I just never beat that one for some reason. It is a very good RPG, but I just never beat it for one reason or another. And I remember him and I, a number of times, we would go to a Circuit City, and he would buy, like, a PS2 game, and I'd buy a Game Boy Advance game. Like, the one that stands out in particular was that he had bought Half-Life for the PS2, and I had bought, what the hell was it called? Final Fight 1, which was basically a remake of the classic Final Fight arcade game. Then obviously over the years I got more Game Boy Advance games and stuff, but let's go back to the consoles. He got the Gamecube, and I think eventually the Xbox. I don't remember too many memories with the Xbox. The Gamecube I do remember quite a bit. For one thing, I remember when Star Fox Assault came out, and him and I were playing the multiplayer, and then our sister, Noelle, with one of her friends came over, and hey, you guys want to play? And we're like, oh, sure. So we all started, the four of us were playing it. That was a lot of fun. And we used to do the system, like, a lot of the times. Let me get into some of the more personal stuff, like with, like when I got the GameCube. Because, like, the PS2 was more just playing with my brother. Like, I didn't have my own until, like, actually a few years ago. Well, I had his that he had given to me for quite a few years, and then I eventually got my own. But one thing I do remember with his PS2, though, was that was the game Manhunt. He was always like, oh my god, Mark, you gotta play this game, I don't know. And then I did finally play it, and I couldn't put it down. It was such a good game. But my GameCube, we're gonna fast forward a few years. I got mine for the Christmas of 2004 because it was like a special bundle. It was the Platinum GameCube, where it was a Platinum GameCube, which came with 2 controllers, Platinum controllers, and Mario Kart Double Dash. So, I got that, the bundle with the Platinum GameCube and the Mario Kart Double Dash and all that. And I got, this was Christmas. I also got Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, Kirby Air Ride, and Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 2, which my brother got me, because I think there was a game I was looking for that I had asked, that was on my wish list or whatever. It was like my junior year of high school. That game was it was a game on my wish list, but I think they couldn't find it, so my brother was like, oh, he might like this, the Tasmanian Tiger game, which it is a good game, a good platformer. But I think the first game I played was Paper Mario, because I loved the first one. The second one is just such an amazing game. And then obviously I started playing all the other games over Christmas vacation. Like Kirby Air Ride and Mario Kart Double Dash to try and unlock things, and then obviously I started buying other games for the system and renting them. I think probably one of the first games I bought was Smash Brothers Melee, of course. I had to have that game. And what was I gonna say? There was also, I think I've said this before, and it's funny, that was actually the music just playing. One of the first games I rented was Skies of Arcadia Legends, and that game was just, oh my god, that is such an amazing JRPG. It's actually a remake of the Dreamcast game. So, I bought, I rented that, and like within a few days of playing it, I was like, I have to buy this game. It's just so good. I've beat it a few times. The old memory card days. What else was there with the GameCube? Well, let's go back to the PS2 for a minute. I remember, like, with the Mortal Kombat games, like, there was Deadly Alliance and Deception, which were really good. My brother had those, and then I got them years later. And it was funny. I remember when, I think Shadows of Colossus was another one. That was such an amazing game. Like, I think I played a little bit of my brother's version, like, or something. I remember watching him play it, and I think I played a little of it, and I eventually got it myself. That is such a phenomenal game, because it's so unique. There's literally, like, just nothing like it, and the music in that game is so epic. But, it was back to Mortal Kombat. I remember when Armageddon came out, and it was funny, because I remember how, there was the first 3 Mortal Kombat games, and then there was 3 Ultimate, and then the trilogy, and, and then there was 4, and then Deadly Alliance and Deception, and then Armageddon, which had everybody in it, so it's like, you figure there's been a few games since that. I wonder if they'll make another one that has, like, everybody in it. That'd be... Whoa. But, and that if they did, would that include, like, all the fourth-party characters, like Jason Voorhees, and the Xenomorph, and the Terminator, and things like that? Where was I going with this? But it was funny, my brother, he bought Armageddon at, what the hell was it called? Best Buy, and when he brought it all the way home, it was probably like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Best Buy was going to be closed, or by the time we got there, went back, it would have been closed, because it was like 20 minutes away or something, but, what had happened was, we got all the way home, opens, we're all excited, ready to play the game. There was no game in the case. Like, seriously, brand new game, in the cellophane and everything, opens up, the game wasn't in there. It's like seriously, so, he did go back and, like, return it, and then he bought the actual thing, and, we played it, and it was just like that opening cutscene with all the characters, like, killing each other and stuff, just, oh my god, it was, like, mind-blowing. I remember the first character I picked was Jarek, because, he was one of my favorite characters from the 4th game, and then, with the exception of Armageddon, that was the only one he was in, was the 4th game. And I remember he did, my brother did have the Dreamcast. Well, he did get one. He got it used, along with, like, I think he got Sonic Adventure, and maybe, like, 1 or 2 other games. He was gonna buy, I think he was, like, we were there, and he was gonna either buy Dynamite Cop or something else, and I was like, oh, why don't you go with Dynamite Cop? That's a, because then we can all play it or something. Because I think it was, like, Ken and someone else was coming over, like, it was New Year's Eve or something, and we were all gonna, like, play that, and, like, Power Stone 2 and stuff, and oh, that was so much fun. Yeah, Power Stone 2, that was another game we played the crap out of. Speaking of which, funny thing, it was a time where Aaron, Tim, and I were playing not Time Splitters, we were playing Power Stone 2, and we were doing that, like, space level, and I was killed. It was down to Aaron and Tim, and then it was towards the end of the level with this, like, giant alien thing with, like, the giant tentacles sticking out, and Tim was, like, really good at fighting games. Wrestling and fighting games. He was, like, a master at those games. And so my brother had, like, a pinch of life left, and Tim had a little bit more of life left, and he was, like, chasing Aaron, trying to kill him and stuff. The alien literally took the tentacle and went, boosh, and just, like, killed Tim, because it was, like, we didn't know the alien could kill you, and it just whacked him and killed him. He was like, what? Just started freaking out. It was hilarious. I don't remember having too many memories with the original Xbox. The only thing I do remember is that it was that my brother got what the hell was it called? Red Dead Revolver. And I think it was like we cared more about the multiplayer than the actual story, because we had so much fun playing with that. We just like we would just like keep throwing the dynamite at each other and stuff, and like blowing each other up, especially on the clown when you go like ooh or something like. That was fun. And I remember, interesting thing with the GameCube, because I went to a special ed high school, and there was this woman who worked there named Claire, who basically she would help kids with like if they were trying to get a job or get their driver's license or something, she would help them with that. And she owned a restaurant that we went to every year. And I was like, she was very, like, laid back, this was, like, a big restaurant, like, there was a dance floor and a dance studio, there was a big TV, I mean, not a dance studio, like a dance floor and a pool table, excuse me, there was, like, this huge TV and, like, plenty of tables and chairs and stuff, so it was, like, it was during my senior year that we went there. I brought my GameCube, along with, like, 4 controllers, and a couple of multiplayer games, like, I brought Day of Reckoning 2 and Time Splitters Future Perfect. So I was like, can I hook up my gaming system, my GameCube? She's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So, like, a bunch of us were playing, like, Time Splitters and Day of Reckoning 2, and just, it so much fun doing that. And that was funny. That was like kind of like, it was during my senior year of high school. That was like when, because I graduated in '06. That was when, basically when the 6th gen was going out, and yeah, just a lot of great memories with that generation. So I guess that's about it. Like some of my fondest memories from that generation. I'm sure there's probably more, which maybe I'll talk about in other videos, like when I talk about more with those systems and stuff. But yeah, so like I said, that was just one of my favorite gaming generations. Probably my favorite next to the 4th one. So that being said, thanks everybody for listening to my nostalgia and nerd moments and whatnot, and I'll see you next time.